with 908 games, 43 consoles, 57 controllers, and a collection that grows every year, one of the most common questions I get is how do you organize, display, and future-proof your collection? Good morning, you glorious gamers! Garbs here, also known as Will. And hey, if you guys love video games, or you just love wasting your time on TikTok, welcome to the channel. And as always guys, don't forget to super smash that subscribe button. And now let's talk about how you can organize, display, and future-proof your collection. So to answer this question, I've broken it down into 5 key elements. Number 1 is how to utilize the space that you have. Number 2 is cabinetry. Number 3 is the use of game stands. Number 4 is protective covers. And number 5 is the lighting. So let's get into it, gamers, and let's first talk about the layout and using your space correctly. Do you have a closet in your room? Because if you do, then it makes the most sense to hold the bulk of your collection inside. So when it comes to closets, there are a few options you have in terms of the doors. First, you can leave the doors on and then hide away your collection if you don't want anyone to see it. And if you leave the doors on, you kind of have a Batman Begins feel, and you open your collection and wow, it's all there. Or you can ditch the doors completely and build the shelving inside the closet so it's easier to display your collection. Now, if you don't have a closet in your room, I would definitely identify where the furniture in the room is going and where your TV is placed. From here, you can determine where you want to put your shelving and your display cabinets. But here's a piece of advice. If your display cabinets are going to have doors, make sure 1, there's enough room to actually open the door, and secondly, make sure you have enough walking space inside your media room. And another thing you might want to consider is not having your collection surrounding your TV. I only say this because if I'm playing video games and one of my buddies wants to view what we're going to play next, I don't want them walking across my screen. But that's just personal preference. Now the second thing we're going to talk about is cabinetry, and all I gotta say is Ikea for the win. Now I'm sure a lot of you guys already know that Ikea is great for a variety of units. It also has pretty good pricing, and the build quality might not be the best, but it's easy to put together, assuming you can follow a picture book of instructions and an Allen key. So personally, I use 4 different units to display my collection, and the first is the Billy bookcase. So they have a wide range of prices between $40 and all the way up to $400. Now what will determine the price is what kind of add-ons and additions you're gonna get inside the cabinet. Also doors. Doors can be quite expensive, but well worth it. Now I use these units for the bulk of my game storage just because of how deep they are. In fact, you can even hold up to 2 DVD cases is what it says in the description. But a DVD case is the same as a game cartridge case, and you know what? You can fit up to 2 deep. So for the bulk of your games, I highly suggest using them. Now as you can see, in between the Billy bookcases, I have the smaller, more narrow setup. Now I have no idea if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but apparently it's called the Gindby. The Gindby? Gindby? Anyway, now unfortunately they discontinued these, but it only cost me about $80 per stand. Now the reason why I like it is it actually gives me a little bit of depth and dimension to my game cabinets. Now unlike the Billy, it's actually quite shallow, so you're only able to get 1 game case to fit inside. However, it's really good if you have multiple consoles to really separate and define each category of games you have. Now for the media center that actually holds the consoles that I like to play on, I use the Besta system because, well, it's the Besta. Yeah, I know that was a terrible dad joke, but the Besta system is really great because it's actually meant for a media center. With tons of variety and lots of customization options, these are perfect to hold your consoles because 1, the extra depth allows you to hide the cables, but it also has a bigger volume, so more airflow is going to be circulated to your consoles. So the price is going to vary depending on what unit you actually get. For my setup, I actually have 3 different units and they range between $150 and $250. All right, we're talking a lot about cabinets, but this is the final one. The last one I like to use is the PAX wardrobe system if I have a closet in the room. So the PAX can be the deepest out of all the storage units, which makes it perfect if you have a lot of boxes or old consoles that you want to display. So like the others, there's lots of different options. However, with this, you can actually go on their website and create a 3D mock-up of the unit you want to build. So I highly suggest this for 1, if you have a closet, just because of the customization options, or if you're a collector of more than just games and consoles, because all your other collectibles are guaranteed to fit inside this unit. So now that we have a bunch of options in terms of cabinets and how we're going to actually store them, let's talk about displaying our collection. Personally, I like using these. So these are actually custom 3D printed game holders. Now don't worry, you don't have to go custom. There are a ton of companies that make this kind of product. Now there are a few pros and cons to having a system like this for displaying your games. So let's talk about the pros. So obviously when you display your games on this, you're actually able to see the cover art of each cartridge. These are especially useful if you're an N64 collector, because Nintendo totally did not put in the side label like they did previously. Now there is a small price to pay, and that is the fact that you can only fit 6 games on each of these stands, which means that your space will be taken up more displaying cartridges this way. But depending on what look or how many games you have, it's totally okay just to stack your cartridges as well. Because I have limited space and a ton of NES cartridges, I actually stack them on top of each other. The side labels work perfectly for me. At the end of the day, it's all preference. I like to mix and match between the two, but it's whatever you want for your collection. Now, as a bonus, don't forget to stay to the end of the video, guys, because I'm going to teach you how to future-proof your entire storage setup. Now, something to consider, if you're not going to use 3D printed stands, it's a good idea to get covers for all your game cartridges. I got these on Amazon for about 25 bucks for a package of 50. These are a great idea to preserve your guys' cartridges, but also your game boxes, because as they get older, they're going to get more fragile, and we want to preserve our collection. So the only problem I have with these plastic covers is we actually can't use them in conjunction with our 3D printed stands. Now, the final thing we're going to talk about today is lighting. You know what they say, when all else fails, throw up some RGB strips behind your collection. Now, besides the fact that it looks really cool, there's actually a little bit of purpose behind doing this. Now, personally, when I'm playing video games or even just chilling in the room, I don't like using the overhead lights. It's just so stale and doesn't really make me feel like I want to play video games. But I also don't like playing in the dark because I find like the TV is just too powerful on my eyes. So the happy medium is having RGB light for ambient light while playing on your TV. Now, there are a ton of companies that offer a product like this. Personally, I like going with the Govee system just because it's the best bang for your buck. So that does it for today, guys. Now, before I give you the bonus secrets about future-proofing your setup, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It'll really help out the channel. So here are a few keys to future-proof your setup. First of all, look at where you are in console generations. And right now, in the generational timeline, we're at the perfect spot because we just had all 3 new systems released. So this is the perfect time to determine how much more space we actually need to accommodate the new systems. So if we look at the next 5-year timeline, we're most likely going to have a Switch Pro, and we're also probably going to have a PS5 Pro and an Xbox Series X Pro Edition as well. So if you're a hardcore gamer like me, then that means we have to make space for an additional 3 systems. Alright guys, that does it for today. I really hope this video helps when it comes to displaying your systems. Like I said, because all the new systems are here, I actually have to redo my entire storage system for the media center. So don't forget to check back into the channel, guys, because I'm going to bring you along as I upgrade my entire setup. That does it for me, guys, so stay happy, stay healthy, and as always, I'll see you online.